Hey everybody, this is Jill from Tutor Success Academy, and today I want to talk to you about having a plan for what happens when a student has to miss a session, especially given what's going on today. So, you know, as a business owner, one of the most important things for your business is that you have consistent, reliable income. And one of the biggest challenges as a private educator or a tutor is when families have to cancel. So if you are curious about how I handle this during non-COVID years, right, go into the video section of this page. And I recorded a video, and I actually think I'm wearing the same sweater in that video, which is interesting. And that will explain how I handle absences. And look at my little doggy back there rolling around. How cute is he? Okay, sorry, I got distracted by my dog. So if you go there, you'll see how I use a tuition model to even out any of those issues that happen when students have to miss sessions. So during regular normal life, I don't normally ever have to worry about those things because I have a system in place so that sick days are already built in, holidays are built in, and so my income stays the same, their payment stays the same, and we just have a plan, right? So you can go and look for that video in our section. I'll probably link it below in a minute once this posts. But in the meantime, this year things are a little bit different, right? Now, we don't ever want kids coming to tutoring sessions while they're sick, right? But this year, more than any year, you might have students who can't come to a tutoring session, especially if you're meeting in person, because maybe they have a sibling who is sick or a parent who's sick. And even if it's just the sniffles, you know that they're probably going to have to call and say that we can't come. So I want you to have a plan for how you're going to handle that. And there's a couple different ways you can do that just to kind of decide ahead of time, what are you going to do? So you're not having to decide on the spot, and so you can make the best use out of your hours and your calendar and your time. So if we have families that are canceling because of like a COVID related thing, right? Either they have the sniffles, like they could learn, but they can't come in because they have some symptoms, right? I want you to go ahead and have a backup plan for video. Okay, so I want you to have like a Zoom backup. I know Zoom sometimes sounds like a dirty word right now, right? But if you are in person and you know at some point families are going to have to cancel, they could still tutor, they can learn, they can focus, but they maybe have the sniffles, right? And so they couldn't come in person. Go ahead and have that backup plan so that parents already know. So parents, grandparents, whoever the adults are in the family, right? Make sure anybody who is in charge of helping that child at home, maybe transporting them to tutoring and things like that, get everybody on the same page. So if a family can't come, like if a child can't come to tutoring because there's maybe sickness in the family, but they could still learn, go ahead and have your backup plan. And that backup plan could just be that you're going to be meeting online. If you're going to be meeting online, if that is what your backup plan is, go ahead and type up a document that says, this is how we're going to do it. So this way you don't have to type a bunch of directions every single time a family needs to make a change. Have a document set up that says, here's where we're going to meet. I'm going to send you a link, or here is the link, with the meeting ID or password or whatever it is you have to do, right? Say your child will need their binder, pencils, highlighters, note cards, whatever the basics are that your child would need. You can say, I will be sending you something to print out the night before or the day of, or things like that, right? So go ahead and have that ready to go, because you don't want to have to type that up over and over and over again. I also want you to think about how much time do you need to change how you meet with a student. So for me, when I was meeting with students in person, right, I couldn't always just like with 30 minutes notice switch to online, because I was in the office and I didn't have a printer in the office. I didn't always have the right streaming equipment in my office. And so for me, I would have needed to know the evening before. So maybe come up with two plans. One plan could be if a family can tell they won't be able to come in person tomorrow, like, right, so by the next day, that if they let you know by 7 p.m. the night before, whatever it is that you've decided, then the plan will be that you guys will meet on Zoom. And that by 8 o'clock the next morning, you will have materials sent to them to print, or whatever your plan is. Now, it could be that they don't realize they won't be able to come in until the day of. Maybe the child woke up with the sniffles, maybe a sibling, had been feeling a little bit puny, but the fever kicked in, And so maybe they didn't have enough time. So maybe a part of that backup plan is that you say, if you know by 7 o'clock the evening before, please let me know. We will plan to meet online during your child's regularly scheduled time. If you don't know until the day of, we will schedule a makeup session. And it could be that the makeup session is online too, because maybe you can't still meet in person. But that could be the idea that you'd say, these are the typical timeframes that I have available for makeup sessions, and you can go ahead and let them know. Or you could say, we'll talk that day and we'll go ahead and plan a makeup session to be scheduled within, like the next 72 hours or something like that. So it doesn't matter what the plan is. What matters is that you know how it's going to go, so you're not scrambling all the time to try to figure out what to do. Because in these days, you guys, if a student has the sniffles or things like that, like we can't just risk it. Like there was a time where we knew it was allergies. I have animals that I'm allergic to, and I still keep them in my home. And so I definitely have allergies that kick up, and I always know the difference between allergies and being sick. But right now, I wouldn't risk it. If I am not going to go around anybody. So you need to be prepared for the situations that are inevitable, and go ahead and have that plan and communicate it with families. This way they will know if your cutoff is 7 o'clock the night before, if they're thinking their child has been feeling a little bit under the weather during the day, then they might go ahead and let you know, because they know your cutoff is 7 o'clock. They may go ahead and make that decision. Hey, let's go ahead and move to online tomorrow. So I just wanted you to start thinking about those plans, because you might have been a little bit too busy with back to school to think about how you're going to handle those situations, so that you don't have a lot of cancellations and lost income, when all it takes is a little bit of prep time ahead of time to make sure that you can still serve your students, help them out, keep them going on their educational plan, while also making sure that everybody stays safe. So come up with a plan and go ahead and let your families know what that plan is too. I would get that going right away. Okay, take care.